Hi, it's Eileen again. Welcome to day 2 of my workshop series entitled Heal Your Brain, Heal Your Body. I'm really excited to jump into day 2. And if you missed day 1, don't worry, it'll be right here on our Women of Color Health Project Facebook page. So it'll always be there. You can always check back and see it if you haven't seen it already. Yesterday, we talked about some of the myths that can undermine our best efforts to reclaim our health and sense of well being. Those myths included a myth like the myth of willpower, the myth that fat genes run in your body, the myth that nothing works for you. Well, again, I want to start this video series today by emphasizing the importance of rewiring our brains so that we can reclaim our health, take control again. So, where I am excited to jump in is to really think about the information, skills, and strategies that I'll be presenting to really build a foundation for making this really transformative change. It was transformative for me, and as I said before, I hope it will be transformative for you. We know so much more about the brain than we did, 10, 15, 25 years ago. And part of what's been helpful in terms of turning around, just having a sense of blame, moving away from failure to be able to lose weight because people blamed us for lack of willpower or lack of control. We know now that the brain is responding in very different ways. It's responding to a more toxic environment. We also have a better understanding of how early childhood, excuse me, can influence the early factors that determine how we relate to food. In my family's case, my mother was a great cook. I loved joining her and my grandmother in terms of working together to prepare meals for our family. But I will, part of her great cooking is that she made great pies, great cakes, great cookies. And so my pleasure center got acclimated at a very early age to really loving to eat desserts, really loving those hits that come to your pleasure pathways and make you feel good. I've said on numerous occasions that when we begin to better understand and look honestly at the relationship that the brain can have to addictive behaviors, it can be very illuminating. And one of those illuminating moments for me was in reading the work of Dr. Susan Peirce Thompson when she talked about her own addictions. In my own family, and I've shared this story before, my father was seriously addicted to alcohol. And one of the things that was so wonderful for my brother, sister, and me was that as we became adults, we sort of celebrated and said, we've broken this chain, this cycle of addiction to alcohol. But after reading Susan Peirce Thompson's work, I looked around. I looked at my brother, my sister, and me. My sister and I were both very overweight. My brother, who loves to collect beautiful things, actually is addicted to the disease of hoarding. And I hadn't understood that before. It was, again, such a revelation for me. So I think when we look honestly at addictive behaviors and the power that the brain has to succumb to these addictive behaviors, we may feel hopeless, but I'm here to say we can rewire the brain, but you really need strategies. You really need a system. Another piece that makes it hard for us to think about rewiring the brain is that we turn to food to comfort ourselves. We like the hits that may calm us down in a troubling moment, so we turn to food for quieting our excitable brains. We turn to food almost like a late night snack when you think you can't sleep and maybe you think a snack will help you sleep better. We turn to food for many different things, but we also turn to food in the wake of trauma. I've been reading the book by Roxane Gay called Hunger, and clearly the early trauma that she experienced made her addiction to food inseparable from how she thought about herself, how she thought about the world, how she built meaning about herself in the world. There's another area that I want to just touch on briefly, and that is that we live in such a toxic environment in modern day life. How food is processed, where people are putting sugar into food, where sugar isn't even needed, how people are supersizing proportions and putting food in front of us much larger than we need to eat at a single setting. The last piece is the number of toxins that are being put into food that we can't even know about. But if you sometimes read the label and there's a long list of strange chemicals, and all you were doing was buying tomato sauce, you wonder, where are the tomatoes? There's so many other things in the ingredients list. So I want to conclude just by thinking again about these three areas of toxins. Our modern day life is full of toxins. Our emotional environment may be full of toxins. It may be a toxic environment. And certainly if you were like my household and became acclimated or became attuned to having highly sweet, highly fat, highly sugary ingredients in all of your food, then your brain has been attuned and acclimated to wanting those hits of highly charged food that soothes or pleases you. The Bright Lines eating system that I used in order to lose 50 pounds was so helpful because it really helped me calm down around my thinking about food all the time. But it's just one part of a multidimensional approach that I want to look at over the next in the next video of my series. But just to come back for a minute and remind you just a little bit about the Bright Lines eating approach, the importance of not eating sugar, not eating flour, the importance of having 3 straight meals a day with no snacking, the importance of planning what you're going to eat ahead of time, planning your meal portions. The simplicity of this approach means that you don't have to think about food all the time. You don't have to do things on impulse. And the bright line that you don't cross that has to do with sugar and flour means that the very toxins that can cause inflammation are out of your system. So you begin to feel more energetic. You begin to feel more focused. You lose that brain fog that you often have. No sugar and hormones means insulin stops spiking. No sugar and hormones means the receptors that receive the glucose, the food of your body, they become healed and open up and receive that energy so that you, in turn, have more energy for the things you want to do, the things you want to accomplish. And finally, our hormones return to doing the work and the signaling to the brain and to the body that they're meant to do. So I'm excited to really look in video 3 at the things that will help us overcome some of these challenges. In tomorrow's segment of Heal Your Body, Heal Your Brain, I'm going to jump right into strategies and interventions that can help you begin to rewire your brain, begin to bring some control to these aspects of a toxic environment that I've talked about today. The final thing that I want to encourage you is, just in terms of a call to action, is to invite you to share this video with any friends, colleagues, or relatives that you think might find it helpful. And if you found it helpful, please leave me comments in the comments section below. I look forward to inviting you to join me in tomorrow's video number 3, where I'll be, again, looking at strategies, very concrete interventions that can help rewire the brain and help you reclaim your health and sense of well-being. Together we can do this, and I'm glad you're joining me for this journey. Thanks so much.